Memphis is a story of, it's a fictional story about the first white DJ to put African American music on the radio. And then it's an interracial love story, and it's the birth of rock and roll.
It's the revolution of the heart and soul.
Here to stay, ain't never gonna go.
It's a rebel cry that's out of control. It's the birth of the rock and roll. Rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll.
Radio was segregated just like society, so the stations, the African American stations, would be on the edge of the radio dial, which had very limited range.
They wouldn't go as far.
It turns out to be very resonant with the world right now. Just at the moment that we have our first black president, it's all about kind of the moment that racial attitudes were changing, and the people who helped change it. And also, there's this whole new generation that has such kind of, I think, political empowerment and feeling that they can really make a difference. And it's really about someone who felt like they could.
Memphis knows me, Memphis shows me how this life is supposed to be.
How did you audition? How was the process of getting into the show of Memphis?
Well, it was about 7 years ago, and I think that they were looking to hire someone who was a little taller and lankier than I. Tall and lanky, I am not. So I went to a number of callbacks about 7 years ago before we did our first production at North Shore Music Theater. And I finally won the part, and I remember reading the entire script a couple of times and thinking, wait, he doesn't really leave the stage, per se. Wait, how's this gonna happen? And then I said, Mom, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. So that's how I got the part, and then it kind of just spilled out, spilled out of me, and you sometimes just get a sense of something, and with this role I did.
Mama told me not to dream big, but Mama lived her life riding scared.
What's the main message that you want theatergoers, whether they're in Memphis or New York or California, to walk away, to leave the house with? What's the message that you think they should be thinking about?
Never, ever let anyone steal your rock and roll. Don't ever let anyone take your truth away from you. If you love someone, no matter who it is, you love them. If you feel the truth in you, if you know this music is right, if you know this thing can help people and change the world, if you know it's true in you, don't ever let anyone tell you that that is not so.
So at what moment did you know that Memphis was destined to be on Broadway?
Whoa, that's a tough question. You know, I used to be the managing director at TheaterWorks in Palo Alto. We did the very first reading of it out there in spring of 2002. I knew our audience went crazy at that reading, and I thought, you know, this one has a lot of potential. And guess what? All these years later, here it is, and it definitely had that potential.
So 8 years in the making.
8 years in the making. And I think that after the engagement in La Jolla, we felt really good about the show. We knew we had another production coming up in Seattle. The guys did great work in Seattle. We looked at it in Seattle. By the end of 3 weeks there, we had sold out on word of mouth. We thought, this one's going to go all the way. This one's going to go all the way.
I just want to know, when is it going to open in Memphis? Because I want to be in Memphis.
October of 2011, it is going to rock.
All I know